Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be creating a Family Guy soundboard application using React. So this video is beginner friendly, it's very easy to do. So basically when I click each of these character, it will show the active character and the corresponding sounds on each character. So when I click on Story, it will show the sounds corresponding to Story. When I click on Consuela, I can click one of these sounds, it will play these audio files. Okay, so when I click on the Herbert, it will play the sounds corresponding to him. Also, when I click on Lois, it will play the sounds corresponding to her. So when I click on Mag or Chris, it will show sounds available for Chris. So you can choose to put sounds for Chris or Meg. So for just in case you don't have sounds for that character, you can show there's no sounds available for that character. If you have sounds, it will display the sounds here. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing in this video. It's quite easy to do. So if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any requests, you can let me know in the comment section. Or if you want to see more videos like this, just let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the video. So I've already created the project. So I have a few folders. So I have an images folder and then the sounds folder. So in the sounds folder, it contains every character which we're going to be using and the sounds corresponding to that character. Okay. And also in the images, it contains all of the images that we're going to be using for each character. Other than that, everything else is still the same. Actually, I do have a data file here. It says data.js. So here, it's just like the imports of the images and the sounds that we're going to be using. Okay, so it's no more imports. Just in case you don't have an API, you can just use this. If you have an API, you can use these sounds or images coming from an API. In this case, we don't have an API, so we can just do normal imports and use the local files. As you can see here, the data. Here I have an ID, and then I have a name of the character, and then the image of the character, and then the sounds. So each character, they're going to have different sounds, and then the sound names for each sound. So for example, this one says idea, and then the name of the sound. Okay, that's basically just objects of data here. Each character is an object, and then it contains some properties. Okay, so that's basically it in the data. So now what we need to do is just do some cleanup. I'm going to delete the app.css and the test. Delete, and also I think let's delete the logo setup and report vitals. Delete those. I'm going to keep index CSS. Let's keep it, but I'm going to delete everything in the index as well. And then go to the index.js, report, delete the vitals, remove this, leave the index CSS there. Let's go to the app.js. We need to get rid of the header. Okay, so now we got rid of the header. Let's start with doing our own styles in the app.js. Okay, so I'm going to import a few things. Get rid of this. So in here, let's create a components folder, shall we? Components. In here, we're going to create a component called character. Character, I need to turn this off. Character.js. I need to turn this off. Okay, so in here, I'm just going to create a functional component named character. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to close the, actually, let's do page resetting here. Margin, let's set that to 0, and then padding. Padding, we also need to set that to 0, and then let's do box sizing, and then let's set that to border box. Okay, and then in the body, we need to give it a background color. So in the body, let's do background color. Let's do red for now. Let's run the project. So to run the project, npm start. So it should be starting the project now. Also font size, let's do 1.2 rem. That's the default font size. So let's see what we have in the browser. Okay, it's going to take a while. Let's do the font family. So the font that I'm going to be using, it's called Cubano. It's installed in my local machine, so you can try to buy it from internet. And then sans serif. So if you don't have this font, you can use any font you want. Okay, yeah, something is wrong. We're importing the logo somewhere which we don't have. logo, Family Guy, source. Okay, in the app.js. I need to save this actually. Okay, perfect. So now we have everything that we need. So in here, I'm going to do logo. So this is going to be our logo container in here. And then I'm going to do img, and then for the source, it's going to be logo, which we don't have yet. We need to import that. So we're going to import logo, and then from it's img. So in the img, we're looking for logo. Is it? I don't think it's in there. So we're looking for logo in the images, but let me check. Yeah, it's logo.png. That's what we're looking for. So we should have the logo of the Family Guy. There it is. There's the logo. Okay, so that's the logo. Now we have the logo area. So in here, I'm going to create an order list const, actually not const, ul, and then we're going to give it a class of characters container. Okay, so and then in here we're going to map through the data. Okay, so we need to get the data. Import data from I should do automatic import, but it's not doing it. Data from data. Okay, like this. So now we're importing the data. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this data into a state. So we're going to create a new state. So this state, let's call it characters, and then we're going to do set characters. Actually, we don't need to set anything because we're not going to change it anyway, so we don't need to do set characters. Let's do the characters only, and then we're going to use state. Okay, this should be at the top. I like it to be at the top. Okay, so use state, and then but initially it's going to be data anyway. That's going to be the normal state for this one anyway. Data, which is the characters. Okay, so what I want to do in the characters container, I'm going to map through the characters. Okay, so characters.map. So I want to display each individual character. I'm just gonna give a char character. Okay, and then I'm going to destructure. Let's do name. What else did we have in the data? So we have name, image, ID, sounds. Name, image, sounds, ID. What else do we have? Sound names. I don't think we need sound names actually in this one. This goes to char. Perfect. Okay, so now we've destructured. We're going to return. Let's do an li actually. Li. So in the li, I'm going to give it a key. So the key, because it's a list, we're going to return a list. So we're going to pass in the ID. That's going to be our key. Okay, so that's the key. Now I just need to in here I just need to create a new div. I'm gonna say characters. So that's the new div for the characters, and then in here I'm just gonna pass in the image, and then here I'm just gonna pass in the image, okay, which we have destructured here. I don't think I'm going to use the name and sounds, so here we just need the ID and the image. Okay, so let's save. Let's see what we have. So as you can see, we have all of the images, but they're really huge, so we need a way to style these up. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's go to the styles and start to the index, actually index.css, and then let's start styling these up. Okay, so in the index, in the body, I'm going to change the background color to hash 14 14 14. Okay, it should be 14 14 like this. Okay, so it's going to be like a dark background color. So that's it for that. And then I'm going to target the app, the main container for the app. I'm just going to do a margin top and bottom. I'm just going to set that to 2 rem, and then left and right I'll set that to 20. you can experiment with these values. You can, experiment around to see what you like. Okay, and then I'm going to look for the logo. So for the logo, I'm going to give it a width of 100%, and then height, I'm going to set that to also 100%, and then display, flex, and then justify content to center. Okay, and then I'm going to align items to center, and then I'm going to do a margin bottom of 1 rem. Okay, and then I'm going to target the image logo img. Okay, so the image is the actual logo, and then I'm going to change the width to 50%. Okay, 50%. Now let's see what we have. So there is the image. It looks nice. It looks pretty good so far. And then what else do we need? I'm going to close the index. Characters container. I'm going to copy this class name, go to the index.css. Here, the characters container, I'm going to do a display. I'm going to do a grid, and then I'm going to say grid template columns. I'm going to do repeat. Then I need 4, and then I'm going to do 1fr. Okay, and then yeah, we have a nice grid, but the images, the styles are like horrible. So now let's do the grid gap. Let's do 1 rem. Okay, so characters container, and then I'm going to target the li, and then I'm going to do border radius. I'm going to set that to 10 pixels, and then I'm going to do a cursor to pointer. Okay, let me see what's going on. All right, so far so good. So now I'm going to target the actual characters, this class here. Okay, so I'm going to do characters container. Okay, and then I'm going to target the characters, and then I'm going to set the height to 300 pixels. Okay, so characters container, this one, I'm going to do list. I'm going to target the list, and then the img. Okay, so in here I'm going to do width. I'm going to change the images width to fill the entire grid container, the grid item, I mean, yeah, grid item container. Okay, so now it's filling the entire width, and then I'm going to set height to 100%, and then I'm going to do border radius to 10 pixels, and then I'm going to do object fit. I'm going to set that to automatic, and then I'm going to do aspect ratio. I'm going to do 1 divided by 1. Okay, and then I'm going to do background color. Let's do wheat. Okay, perfect. There it is. It looks nice. So far so good. Okay, so the styles are coming up nice. Okay, so we need to, when we click this, to show which is active. Okay, so here we're going to do on click li. Let's do on click. On what? Why is it on click not showing? On click. Okay, we're going to do a callback function because we want to show what item we click. Okay, we actually need to create a state const because we need to see which character we've clicked on, which character is active char, active character. We're going to set active char for character. Okay, equal to use state. For some reason there's no autocomplete. Okay, use state. Now back here, callback function, then we're going to set active char to character, to char, actually to this character here. I don't know what happened with the autocomplete. I think I need to restart my VS Code. I'm gonna close this. Okay, and then I'm going to restart my VS Code window. It's very strange. Okay. So now, okay, so let's see if it works. So now, set active character to the character here, okay, on click. So now, after we click, let's see, actually, let's do this, COG, let's switch, okay, let's see what we see if we go to the console. Let's refresh. This is, because we need to run the project again. Okay, so hopefully we should see something in the console when we click each of this character. Okay, for some reason it's showing all of the characters. Quagmire, Chris, character map. Oh, I know why. Okay, don't worry, it's working. So now what we need to do, we need to do the set characters. This one we need to select, okay, a character, because we didn't select a character. So we do characters. We need to select the first character. Okay, so here we need to change this state value here depending on what character we click on. So when I save now, we're selecting a 0, which means the first character, which is Peter. Okay, I removed the console log anyway. So yeah, character 0 is Peter, and then when I do 1, I think that's Stewie, and then 2, that's someone else. So yeah, let's start with 0. We're targeting the first character, so this is the active character, which is character 1. Okay, so here we're basically changing the active character to the character we click on. Okay, so now let's go to the, let's do a class. Actually, when we click, we need to set a class on the clicked character of active. Okay, so here I'm gonna do class name. I'm gonna do that string literal template retro, I think. Yeah, like this. So now we need to say active character dot id. Okay, so if the id of the active character matches the current id here, matches, we're going to basically set a class. Okay, if it matches, we're going to give it a class of active. Okay, active, and then if it's not, well, we're just gonna leave it to an empty string. Okay, so you can put this in next line. Actually, let's do this. One click. Yeah, just put it on the next line. Okay, so now let's save. So now we should definitely do a toggling of the class. So we have, let me click this one. Now as you can see, we have active. Okay, when I click this one, it's active. When I click this one, it's active. Okay, so depending on what I click, that's where the active class is going. So we need to style that active class. Okay, so to start the active, I'll go to the styles. I'm gonna do active, and then I'm gonna do position to relative, because I'm going to create a pseudo element and after pseudo element. Okay, I'm going to do after. I'm going to do content. I'm going to leave that to an empty string. Content is empty string, and then I'm going to do a position of absolute, and then top. We're setting that to 0, left 0, because I'm going to create a div. Okay, left 0, and then height and width 100%. Height, width 100%, and then I'm just going to give it a background color. It's going to be like black. So I'm going to use RGBA, red, green, blue, alpha. So red 0, so it's going to be black. If I do 0, 0 is black, and then the alpha is the opacity. So for the opacity, I'm going to do 0.5, which is 50%. And then I'm also going to give it a border radius 10 pixels, the one we've been using. And then when I save, when I click, as you can see, it's dark. Okay, it's darkening whatever item we click on. That's the effect we're looking for. Okay, I'm also going to create a before pseudo element. Okay, I'm going to cut this. Okay, so here it's instead of after, let's just do before. So in the before, position is still absolute. Okay, but top we're setting that 50% because we want it to be at the center of the screen of the item. Left 50% as well. Okay, and then we're just going to do transform translate to center this. Minus 50%, minus 50%. Okay, so it's going to be like nicely centered on the screen. On the item height, let's do 50 pixels, and then width 50 pixels, and then we're going to do border radius to make it rounded. Okay, border radius of 50%, 50%, and then we're just going to give it a border 5 pixels. Border, let's do 5 pixels, and then we're gonna do solid, and then I'm just gonna paste in the color we're going to use. Okay, this is the color. So there it is. It's not there yet because it's not active. So when I click, now it's active. As you can see, there's a circle now. That's the pseudo element we're waiting for. So now we're going to do border top color. Border top color. Let's set that to transparent. And then we're going to do let's do an animation actually. Animation, let's name it spin. So we want to, if it's active, to spin, and then we're going to do infinite. Let's do linear, and then infinite. So it's gonna keep playing. It's not gonna stop playing. So this should be spin, snip, spin. Okay, that's the name of the animation. Let's do the animation here at keyframes. So here we're just gonna name it spin. So the spin animation is basically just to rotate. We're going to rotate, so we're just gonna do 2. We're gonna do transform, and then we're just going to do translate. We're going to do minus 50 as we're going to stay at the center position, minus 50, and then after the translate, we're just gonna rotate this 360. Let's do 360. 360 degrees. Okay, so now let's save. There it is. So whatever is active is going to spin like this. Okay, so that's the effect we're looking for. So now we're finishing with the spin animation. Let's work on the character component. Okay, so that's where we need to do the audio handling in the character. So in the character, let's create a styling. Actually we'll do the styling later. So for now, I'm going to render the character below the UL. Okay, so let's render it. Yeah, after the UL, let's just render the character here. Character. Okay, let's just render it. But I also need to pass in the data of the character. Okay, because when the active character, whatever character is active, I need to pass the data, the properties into the character component. So I'm just gonna spread these. So I'm just gonna spread active character. Okay, so active char. So let's say the active character currently it's Peter, it's 0. I'm just gonna spread the properties. If it's someone else, it's gonna do the properties. So now let's go to character. I'm just gonna destructure here. So in the character, what I want to get, I want to get the name. Okay, I don't need the image, so I need sounds. I also need sound names. Okay, so sound names, I'm going to create a state for audio, const audio. We don't need to set the state because we're only using the audio, so we're not changing it. Use state. Okay, so in the use state, we're just going to create a new audio in here. So this is a method. So new audio, it's like we're creating a new instance of the audio. Okay, so we're creating a new instance, and then we're just going to give it a class, not a class, I mean a name of audio. Okay, so now we have this the audio stored in a state. What we need to do, we're just going to create a function, const, I'm going to say handle audio play. I think you can name it whatever you want. and then equal here, we're just gonna let it take the event object. Okay, so event. So here I'm just gonna say e.target value. Actually, no. Yeah, let's do value. Or you can use the dataset if you want. E.target the value, which is the source. Okay, so I'm gonna do audio .src for the source, src e.target.value, the value of whatever item we click on. Okay, so here I'm just gonna do audio.play. So this play method comes from the audio. Okay, so now handle audio play. So now let's go down here, let's do some more HTML markup. In here I'm going to do a div, then I'm just going to do h2, and then here I'm just going to pass in the name. Okay, so the name. After that I'm going to do another div. So in this div I'm just going to do sounds.map. I'm going to map through all the sounds. Okay, sound for each individual sound. I'm going to return a button. Okay, return a button. Since this is a list, we also need a key. Okay, so the key, I'm just going to pass in the index. So here, let's get the index, actually, index. Okay, so that's the key. The value for this one, we're going to set the value to the sound. Okay, so what we're doing is when we click, so the value, this sound is the location of the sound. Okay, so when we click, we're extracting the value here, as you can see. The source, we're setting the source of the audio to the value that we click. We're extracting the value data, okay, which is the location of the audio file, which is like a link, like, okay, wherever the sound is coming from. So we're basically extracting that location and then putting it into the source, okay, for this audio to play. That's what we're basically doing, extracting the value and putting the audio source when we click. Okay, that's why we're using this value here. You can use the data set if you want, or you can use value, it's up to you. Okay, so now on click, let's do on click. On click, we're doing handle audio play. So we're going to handle audio play when we click. Okay, perfect. So let's go inside the button. So inside the button, I want the name, okay, of the sound. I'm gonna do sound names. So the current audio, I'm gonna do I'm gonna pass in the index. Okay, the current index. Okay, so if the we have, let's say, 3 sound names, it's going to match the corresponding sounds. Okay, so that's what we done in the data. So the index is going to get the corresponding sound name. Okay, perfect. So now let's save. Okay, so as you can see, there's sounds here.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so when I press play, they work. Okay, so when I also press on Consuela, it works. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure if these sounds are working. Actually, let me turn on my speaker a bit to see if they're working. Yeah, everything is fine. I'm gonna turn off my speaker now. So yeah, so each character I click on, they're going to have sounds. Okay, some characters don't have sounds, unfortunately. I didn't get sounds for all of them. So what we're going to do, if a character does not have sounds, after the here, I'm going to say do a sounds. Sounds. What did I name it? Sounds. Okay, I'm gonna do sounds to a length. So if it's equal to 0, make sure you do this. If it's equal to 0, if there's nothing, we're just going to display a p tag. Okay, p tag, a paragraph, and then we're going to say no sounds available, and then for no sounds available for, and then let's do a span, and then here we're just gonna do name, no sounds available for the character's name. Let's say Chris, no sounds available for Chris. Okay, that's basically it. So if we have no sounds, it will show you no sounds available for the character, like here, no sounds available for Chris. Perfect. So now it's only a matter of styling, so the main functionality is working. So let's create a new style here. I'm going to create a character module. So I'm going to give it a shortcut of module dot css. Okay, I'm going to do some css modules doing the styling. Okay, so here I'm going to give it a class name. I'm going to make sure you import character module mod from. Okay, this is the module we're importing, so we can do modules here. So here we're just gonna do let me copy this name actually. Character mod dot give what class do we need to give? Let's do sounds container. Okay, perfect. So now let's go here and let's do dot sounds container. Okay, so now we can start styling this with a module. So for sounds container, I'm just gonna do display flex and then flex direction. I'm gonna set that to column. Okay, I'm also going to create a few classes here so I can style this properly. Okay, so here let's name this. Let's do class name. I'm just gonna copy this to make this easier. Actually, copy this, and then let's create a new class name. So this is let's do name container, name con. Okay, let's go down here. Let's give it another class. This one, let's name it sounds. Okay, you can name this class name whatever you want. Sounds. Now let's do the button actually. Button. You can put this one on the next line if you want to. Character mode, and then this one is going to be sounds btn. Okay, sounds btn. That's it. So now let's say we have classes. Now we just need to style this. So let's go to character module, and then let's start with sounds. Okay, let's do display flex, align items to center, and then justify content to center. And then what we need to do, we need to do margin top. Let's do 0.5 rem margin top, and then let's do gap. Where's the flex? We're going to do a gap of 0.8 rem. You can mess around with the values of the properties. Okay, then I'm going to do sounds. I'm going to target the p tag. Okay, I'm going to do font size. I'm going to do 1.2 rem. Okay, and then I'm going to do color. I'm going to set that to white. Okay, you can mess around. Okay, there it is. So no sounds available for Chris. No sounds available for Chris. Okay, so now when I click on Consuela, there's sounds. You can work around these sounds. So now we need to style the buttons as well. I'm actually going to style the p tag as well. As you can see for Chris, I want to make it blue, same as this one. So how do we do that? I'm gonna do sounds p. I'm gonna tag the span tag, and then I'm just gonna set the color. The color is gonna be hash, the blue color. Okay, so hopefully you should have a different color. There it is, to reflect the name of the character. sounds, BTN. I'm going to target the BTN. Okay, so the background color, I'm going to set that to the blue color, to this color here. And then border, I'm going to do none, and then I'm going to do cursor to pointer, outline to none. Oh my days, none. Let's do a font size. Let's do inherit. I think I've set to 1.2 RAM in the body, so let's just inherit that. Okay, and let's do color. Let's set that to white, and also I'm going to give it a padding. So the padding, I'm going to do 0.4 RAM top and bottom, and then 1 RAM left and right. And then I'm going to do border radius. I'm going to set that to, let's do 5 pixels. And then let's give it a transition, shall we? Transition, let's do 0.4 seconds, 0.3, ease in and ease out. Okay, so sounds good. I'm also going to do the hover. Do sounds BTN, and on hover, let's do background color. I'm just gonna set it to yellow and give it a color of white. Okay, perfect. So now let's save. Let's see what we have. So click, there it is. Everything looks pretty good. So but this one we need to start the name of the character. Okay, so if you remember the name, we give it a class name of name container, name container. So display flex, and then align items to center, and then we're going to do justify content to center, and then we're going to do margin top. Let's do 1.5 RAM, and then let's do margin bottom. Let's set that to 0.5 RAM. Okay, so name container, I'm going to target the H2. I'm going to do font size, I'm going to do 2 RAM. Okay, and then I'm going to do font weight. Let's do 500. Okay, and then I'm do color to white. Save. Okay, so everything looks pretty neat. Peter, you can click on these sounds, they all work. Okay, I think that's it. It's working nicely. So if you have any questions, if you want to request any video, you can let me know in the comments. And also please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm going to be making a lot of videos in the future, so if you want something else, you can just let me know in the comments. Okay, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.